Thought I hit start recording. I did hit start recording. Why is that not popping up there? Guess I'll keep waiting. Do I just need to refresh my page for it to pop up? Okay, there we go. Sorry, I was hosting someone, and when I started my own stream, it just didn't refresh, so I was a little puzzled about what exactly was happening there. All right. Good evening, folks. My name's Phil Gallagher. I run Thraben University, and every once in a while I like to give a little something back to the viewers because they're so good to me. And so every time I hit 100 new followers, I decide to do some sort of bonus stream with something a little bit silly. And usually I do those outside of normally scheduled stream times to make sure you get an extra boost of content. But I did that Red Prison stream yesterday, and I figure I'm probably going to do another one of those at some point this week. So I figured we'd do this on Monday night. It just felt like a good night to do something stupid with death and taxes. And I want to explain why I'm trying a green splash and like what I'm trying to accomplish with the cards I'm playing. Number one, let's just get this out of the way first. Green Splash D&T is probably just not better than Maverick. Like, let's accept that and move on, alright? Like, if you want to take the best advantage of the green cards, the answer is play Maverick. So, like, accept that, let's move on. Number two, I think in the past, the reason to splash for green has been a combination of Gaddock Teague and Quasali Pridemage, often in the main deck, as well as a couple of powerful sideboard cards like Choke. And there are some other powerful cards that you can play in the green lists, like Sylvan Library, that are very, very, very good. But like when I put up the green primer for my site, Tireless Tracker wasn't out yet. And I think that's a deal breaker. Tireless Tracker plus fetch lands is just stupid good. And whereas Maverick can tutor for it with Green Sun Zenith, I can tutor for it with Recruiter of the Guard. So I kind of have that same degree of utility in going and finding it. So what the Green Splash here is going to allow me to do is play a little bit better of a mid-range grindy game. And that's the sort of thing that can be really good right now. Hey Phil, enjoyed the SCG recap video? I'm glad you did. I really wanted that to be an article because it's like more easily accessible to more people if I do that. But my time is hard pressed right now. And say la vie, so it goes. It is what it is. Insert other cliche saying here. I don't really think Pridemage is the best right now. For anyone not familiar with it, it's a 2/2 with Exalted that you can pay 1 and destroy an artifact or enchantment. Right now, artifacts are at kind of a low. Like, you see them in D&T, but otherwise, like, they're not all over the place. If I'm cutting a Revoker from the normal stock lists in almost all of my builds, then that's probably an indication that Pridemage isn't the best. Evening, Army Athalia. I'm doing well. I think we're going to have fun tonight. And then, like, sort of on the note of using the Green Splash to grind well, I've always thought Renegade Rallier is a sweet card. So this is one you're probably not familiar with. It has Revolt, which means if a permanent you controlled left the battlefield this turn. So if you trigger Revolt, when it enters the battlefield, you can return target permanent card with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So, all right, let's do a quick look. What has converted mana cost 2 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield? Oh, it's all of this. Plus, lands. So that means also like the 5 fetch lands that are in the deck, the wastelands that are in the deck can be returned with Renegade Rallier as well. I don't think I like this enough to play multiples. Like, in order to play multiples, you'd have to go like pretty deep with like the Ghost Quarter type plan. But I think it's a really good one of. And then I kind of made a decision. If I wanted to play a green-white taxes list that was meant to like win, this deck isn't meant to win necessarily. This is meant to have fun. Anyway, if I was playing a green-white taxes deck that I wanted to win, I'd probably want a little more combo hate in the main deck. And I decided instead, like, we're going to try to beat up on mid-range matchups. Like, we're just going to try to go a little bit bigger than everyone else tonight. And I decided I'm just going to play, like, 3-4 drops. Like, why not? Let's tick those vials up. If Tireless Tracker and Renegade Rallier help us to, like, get into some more lands, this might actually be reasonable. And Shalai, which normally has been pretty good in the mono-white builds, does have an ability that's green to, you know, put a +1/+1 counter on every creature you control. And Restoration Angel seems sweet with, like, all the stuff that I'm normally playing, especially with, like, this Renegade Rallier. Yeah, Lord Darkview, I considered Carpet of Flowers. Carpet of Flowers is pretty darn good. But again, I think that's the sort of card that is probably a little bit better than Maverick than here. Because I'm not going to have as many turn 1 green sources as Maverick is going to have. There is no Angel Lord, I feel cheated. On a different day, Basic Plains, we'll go up to, like, you know, 5-cost Angels, and we'll play the new Baneslayer in an Angel Stompy deck. I want to do that. I just haven't had the, like, time/brain power to go and, like, craft out that deck list, because I haven't seen a post-Dominaria Angel Stompy deck list, which is super unfortunate, because, like, I definitely think the cards are there for it. And Lord Darkview, I don't know how much you played with Teague, but it's not that great against a huge portion of the format. Like, in the matches where Teague is good, it is, like, one of the best cards in your deck. But in the matches where it's bad, it's a legendary 2/2 that's hard to cast. So I decided to move it to the sideboard for that reason. Against things like, you know, Red Prison, Miracles, Storm, it's going to be pretty good. But against things like, you know, Delver, Check Pile, you know, the Mirror, it's going to feel pretty terrible. So that's why I've got it in the sideboard. Hey Echo, welcome to the stream. So, I did make one overboard, over-the-top decision that's probably wrong, but I decided to play like 4 Path to Exiles in this deck. And I decided that if I play against Delver, we're just going to keep these 4 drops in, and we're just going to go bigger than them. Like, I'm just going to have 4 paths. I'm going to, like, have 8 removal spells for your early game idiots, and I am just going to play a bunch of stupid, hard-to-deal-with endgame bombs. That's the kind of mood I'm in tonight. Yeah, Echo, I'm doing well. I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be fun. This is not necessarily the most balanced deck list. This is maybe not a deck list that I'd call, you know, objectively good, but it's certainly what I'm in the mood to do. Over the Top would be running 4 Path and 4 Sunlance. Fresh out of Sunlance. You know, maybe next time. Maybe next time. Oh, before I get going, I threw this at the bottom of the stream here, so I wouldn't forget. I wanted to thank Eric P for his donation. He gave me a pretty sizable donation, you know, saying that he really appreciated, you know, what I've been doing on the stream and what I've been doing for the Death and Taxes community more generally, you know, citing the fact that he just, like, loved the matchup primers that that I've been putting out and things of that nature. So Eric, thank you for your donation. You're helping me do what I'm doing right now for the community. So good stuff. All right. Now, let me Let me fix this here now. Now that I've done that. So what's my next goal? We're pretty close to the next goal already. All right. So we have 783 out of 800 for Ancient Tomb D&T Stream. Scoot that over a tiny bit. How does that look? All right. That looks pretty good. Let's battle, chat. Let's battle. No, I'm not gonna play Fortnite. No, Eric. This is a build of my own creation. So for anyone not paying attention to the chat, Army of Thalia just posted, I don't know how much cheers help, but have these. These are for one sun lance. We should play some Sunlance again sometime. That card's really fun. It's like Bad Lightning Bolt. Bad Lightning Bolt's solid. So anyway, sorry, I got distracted. Who posted that? So Eric, the build that Red Panda posted was more reasonable, and I think it included like one Shalai and one Wingmare. It had Teague in the main and Renegade Rallier in the sideboard, and I flip-flopped those. But otherwise, like, the core of the deck is the same. And I think I used his mana base. I know I copy and pasted his deck list as my starting point, and then I made a bunch of changes. Well, not a bunch, a handful of changes. I already had a green-white deck list drafted up, and his was pretty similar, so that saved me some work. I refuse to be anything but the #1 cheerer. Ooh, we're playing against Pink Frosting, who I believe plays Red Prison most of the time. Ooh, it looks like it's been Big Sneak and Show or Big Red. I swear I recognize his name from, like, Red Prison stuff. You can get bits from watching ads. Neat. Well, if it's Sneak and Show, that's not so bad, right? Like, I have this Caracas, I have like a Recruiter to get a Flicker Wisp to buy time. Should probably pull up my deck list here. I have a Pride Mage that I can get to blow up like an Omniscience. So like I have the right sort of cards. 5 bits for a 30-second ad. Free money. On the list of things that I like, free money, that's pretty far up there. Like, there are other things I might like more. Like, you know, always having Ether Vial in my opening hand. But free money's great. I'm leading on Savannah to hide the Caracas. And to confuse my opponent. Oh, thank you much for your resubscription. 4 months is a lot. Thank you very much for your continued support. Being alive. Yes, I do like being alive more than free money. Praise be to our angel overlords. Indeed. Oh man, we've got double green for Shalai activations. Graduated in December. I live for free shit at uni. I get that. I really do. I'm, some people would say frugal. Other people might say stingy when it comes to money. So I enjoy grinding value out of things. Chat, this feels kind of like Big Red to me. If this is Big Red, I probably just want to, like, get a Thalia, right? Like, Recruiter, get a Thalia, Violin, a Thalia. And just, like, keep them from playing a bunch of rituals. If it's Red Prison, the Thalia accomplishes just about the same thing as the Port does. In before burn with nothing but Price of Progress in hand. Alternatively, I can just, like, play land, Port, and play a second Mom, and then next turn tick Vial up to 3, Recruiter for Thalia, play Thalia, still Port. That's actually probably better. If this is burn, and I don't think it is, but if it was burn, then this Shalai would be pretty sweet. Well, that's fine. I don't need no lands. So I can Recruiter for Revoker, cast Revoker, put Revoker on Sneak Attack, bash in for 2. Or I can just, like, Recruiter for Flicker Wisp and ignore the Shalai that's in my hand. They're probably pretty far away from, like, casting things. Yeah, kind of want to get Flicker Wisp. But Revoker is probably just as good. And prevents me from, like, just losing to, like, Sneak Attack and Pedal. So I think I'll do that. I don't think he's on Red Prison. Just, like, my gut feeling is that this is not Red Prison. This is how confident I am that it is not Red Prison. May get punished for this, but, like, that would have been a terribly poor opening hand for Red Prison. Super punished. Opponent had a ton of results with, like, the all-in red deck. And someone else said they had seen it on Sneak and Show. Alright, that one fell apart. That's fine. Alright. I wonder what made my opponent keep their opening hand. Because they just did, like, mono nothing. Forever. Alright. So Pride Mage and Teague can come in. And that's probably it, unfortunately. Like, Sylvan Library is a consideration. Everything else is pretty bad. Yeah, but you usually mulligan a lot of hands that, like, can't do anything early on, right? Alright, so since they're going to be hard to cast, I'll probably eliminate the green cards that don't really do anything particularly good in this matchup. Like, Renegade Rallier can probably go. I probably won't even board in Sylvan Library, just, you know, for same reasons. It can be hard to cast. I'll probably trim A Swords to Plowshares. It's not the best in the matchup. Definitely seems like a choke matchup. What happens if you have both Choke and Blood Moon on the field at the same time? Asking the difficult questions. This gets a basic, but doesn't do anything otherwise. This has an Ether Vial, so I'm going to keep it. Second Ether Vial? Third Ether Vial? Bottom that. I'm valuing playing this Marsh Flats and the Vial over porting so that I can get a white source if my opponent just, like, casts a turn 2 Blood Moon or Magus. This Pride Mage is going to be pretty good. I'm not sure exactly what it's doing yet, but the answer is probably something. I'm not going to blow up this Blood Moon to, like, try to get them to lose their City of Traders. I won't even call it testing. We are having some fun with a green-white taxes build. Abrade, destroy the Jete. Okay. No Sunlance, though, so not maximum fun. Snaring Bridge. Okay. For now, we're going to say always no to both of those. I really wish I could have made Tireless Tracker 1 bigger so it couldn't just be like Chandra minus this turn. But after this turn, it's out of that range. That is real good. That is real good. And I don't even know what that does. I am really tempted to just, like, Recruiter of the Guard for the second Tireless Tracker, play Tireless Tracker, go land, crack, and just have, like, stupid draw engine going. But something like Recruiter for Flicker Wisp, Recruiter, get Revoker is probably just better. Jam Teague. Ooh. Teague's good. Same plan, but Teague. All right. So now I kind of want to draw my card now. What's the difference compared to Maverick? Well, Maverick's probably what we would call a good deck. And this is not a good deck. But in all seriousness, like Maverick has mana acceleration and such that this deck does not have access to, as well as a Green Sunset and a Toolbox package. Man, this Tireless Tracker card is just gas. So now I have 6 power, so like a double block here doesn't even beat me. Ah, the chump blocking sulfur elemental. That feels decent. I wonder if, like, my line of like getting the wisp was too greedy because of like the exact sulfur elemental thing that happened. I wonder if that's like actually true. This guy's a monster. This is so fun for me. Oh. Oh wait, I can just like I could flicker that, Surge the Plowshare as a goblin, force a jump block on the last one. Is this just whenever a land enters? Or I can just get another card? Oh, this is grand. I think I just hold this Flicker Wisp up, or maybe at like end step I get rid of Chrome Mox so they can't cast something big and stupid. No, what beats me? Ensnaring Bridge beats me, so I just hold the Flicker Wisp. Swords them to see if they remember the Chalice trigger. Flicker Moon, fetch and waste, gets you a card, it destroys a land. That is a reasonable line to take. I don't know that that does anything that I need to do. Like, I think just, like, guaranteed putting them dead is better. Alright, if this file resolves, I want this Bride Mage. If this file doesn't resolve, I don't want this Bride Mage. Let's be a greedy boy. Don't chalice me. Turn 1 Rebels. I have Athalia to check that, so it's not the end of the world, but another aggressive follow-up play probably would be. play another Rebel Master. That I could not beat. Ugh. Alright, so now I need to draw planes, probably this turn. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing I like better than, like, losing to my own mistakes and realizing that, like, it's not the deck, it's me. Alright, we died. The last thing you want to play against on a splash build is a deck like Red Prison, because you go from essentially being, like, you know, near 100%, not near 100%, like 70% to win, to being, like, not favored instead. I'll keep this. This is a reasonable hand in the dark. God, are we just gonna play against Red Prison again? Let me super sad if that's the case. Yep. Joke's on you, sucker. I have a basic plains and a revoker. I'll lead on the Wasteland so they don't know what deck I am for this turn, and then I'll play the snow-covered plains next turn. I'm going to attack my opponent's mana now. And just, like, increase the chances of leaving cards stranded in their hand. I want them to stumble. Red Prison stole a 5-0 from me. What's that? Sunday night? It was the mirror, though, so I guess that's fair. What am I doing? Can't cast Pride Mage. Flicker Wisp isn't the most reasonable get. Don't really have another taxation thing. Oh, I only have one Revoker. Not the greatest. Actually, I think I messed up. I probably shouldn't have played the Recruiter. I was thinking I wanted to play the Recruiter so that I can Restoration Angel the Recruiter. But now that's looking bad in retrospect. I guess I'll get a Mom. Yeah, I think I messed up that turn. Yeah, red prison. Red panda. The red prison mirror is rough because there are so few cards in your deck that actually matter. I need to squeeze their mana a little bit more so that I can get in with like a Jitte hit with a Stoneforge. I also need to draw an Aether Vial. Hey, there we go. This game is going to go so slowly. Well, the good news is that if I get to the point where I actually can, like, Flicker Wisp out a bridge, Pride Mage the other bridge, or something like that, I will just wreck my opponent in one turn. That is the good news. So about those Barenton Forge Tenders. Yep, I mean, clear deck building error. They're not in my deck. Oh yeah, this is, like, going to be terrible. To watch, that is. You can set up Pride Mage and Rally or Pride Mage. I don't actually know that I can beat this Vile Time. So I have to protect the Revoker. Excuse me. And then I probably just save a mom. I mean, it does feel good to still have, like, 5 creatures left after a sweeper. Ooh! Ooh! Not dead. That's half. That's half. Guess I just put this on my mom. I'm waiting for my opponent to draw a Rabble Master, actually. Rabble Master and those, like, tokens being forced to attack would be gas for me. I want to protect this Stoneforge because I will need a 1/2 body in order to connect with Jitte repeatedly. So I don't want that to get, like, Fiery Confluenced away. Fuck. Alright. Yeah, again, one of my best outs is my opponent drawing Goblin Rabble Master. Don't have one of those in play yet. Trinosphere. And in case the whole, like, Goblin Rival Master thing, I guess there's a problem with my plan, right? If my opponent plays Goblin Rabble Master, they just start accumulating a board, and then so long as they can play their thing pre-combat, it still doesn't work. And my opponent has more cards left in deck than I do. That's a problem. Okay, do I have literal any outs to this now? I don't think I do. I don't think I can beat the fourth bridge. It would have to be like Pride Mage 1, Renegade Rallier it back, get a second double Flicker Wisp in the same turn. I don't think that's happening. I'm going to go ahead and concede for clock and viewer experience. Yeah, not happening. All right. So what do we do? Pride Mage and Teague in, and we did 1 Swords to Plowshares. There's one other thing we blurred out. The Rallier. Not having something like Council's Judgment in this list hurts a little bit. Like, the Pride Mage is okay, but like normally we'd have another Revoker and like 2 Council's Judgments here, or like maybe even 2 Council's Judgment and a Leon and Relic Order and a Recruiter to get him. Burning Wish for Cataclysm. Ooh, I missed that one. I just like totally missed that line. I mean, we even had the red mana for it. Like, that was easy. Sideboard Shatterstorm just for this matchup. That is a great troll face answer right there. Well said. Well said. So, like, I know this Red Prison deck is just kicking our butt, but, like, on a positive note, look at all of the just, like, single white cost cards that I do have. And especially some of them that are real threats. Like, even in the face of a Blood Moon, yes, the green cards might get shut off, but there's still a decent amount of, like, play left in the deck as far as threats goes. I'm going to assume that my opponent just, like, went to the bathroom or something. Oh yeah, like I've been on the wrong side of Teague when playing Red Prison. That card's hard because the best cards in the deck are at 4, right? Like Chandra, maybe other Chandra, Fiery Confluence, and like Karn now as well. It's rough. Alright, I'm in for this. It gets a basic land, it has a turn 1 play, it has game against a Goblin Rabble Master, otherwise I just have like the Thalia Wasteland plan. So this isn't the strongest hand in the world, but it's okay. Whew, excuse me. Sorry, my roommates are making balloon noises. A noise approximating that. We use it to communicate with each other. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but it works for us. Don't really know what's going on over there. Maybe my opponent legitimately has a tricky hand, or maybe they're juggling or something. Could be anything. Alright, chat. While we wait, it's time for Ask Phil questions time. What do you want to know? I'll give you the answers. Yeah, if you don't understand balloon as a language, it's kind of rough. It's kind of an acquired thing. It makes some people very angry. If you know Parnell from the Star City scene, it gets his goat real good. He always yells at us and tells us to behave like adults whenever we start doing it. I want to know Hikori when. I'm gonna make a note of that. Hikori stream sounds fun. Is Hikori double white, or is it just like white and one? Double white. Maybe when I do like the bonus stream that has Ancient Tomb in it, we jam Hikori in there because we can do Hikori as a turn 3 play. That seems kind of fun. What is Sunlance in Balloon? Is white taxes just better now with Shalai than red-white without? I don't know. I have the feeling that white taxes is probably much better position than red-white taxes now that like red prison is really picking up stream, and now that like Delver is just like everywhere instead of just super popular. So I probably won't play a ton of red-white taxes on stream for a little while until some of that settles. Like I might get bored and like just want to moon people, but if I do that, I might just like red prison instead. Yeah, I said this a little bit the other night on stream, but I was really interested in a mono white build with a bunch of Sarah Avengers, because like this is what I played in Baltimore, like hedging against both Delver and Pile by playing Crusaders, and then I just ran into a bunch of miracles. So I like probably 2 to 3 Sarah Avengers right now. I don't think I want to like go crazy and play all 4 or anything, but it's probably a mistake to not have that card in your 75 right now. This is just like a viewer experience for the win right here. Alright, I'm playing red-white taxes this weekend at the Team GP, but Toronto's legacy scene is infested with lands. Well, if there's lands and like turbo depths everywhere, the red splash will treat you very, very, very well. Let me put some numbers on that, because I have the time. Alright, so let's see. Red-white D&T versus lands. Yeah, I have a 67% win rate versus lands with red-white. And versus Turbo Depths, I have around a 60% matchup. But that's after taking some hard losses a couple of times in a row. So if you want to beat Merilage, red-white can be pretty sweet. Alright, let's talk about Red Prison, because I'm bored. So I got a 4-1 with this on Sunday night, only losing to the Mirror in the final round. very narrowly, and the mirror is kind of a crapshoot because you don't actually have that many cards that matter. Like, your Blood Moons, your Trinispheres, your Spirit Guides, your Moxen, your Magus, none of that stuff really matters, and to a lesser extent your Ensnaring Bridges don't matter because, like, one or the other of you is going to have them. So that means you only have about 15 cards in your deck that are actually real cards. So, like, 1 in 4 of your draws in the mirror just sucks, which is terrible. And, like, some of the cards get invalidated really quickly as well. Like, oh, the bridge is down. All of a sudden, my Rabble Masters aren't getting points in. Oh, the bridge is down. Now Hazaret can only do 2 damage a turn instead of, like, potentially 7. So it's very awkward, and you end up boarding in, like, things that hurt both of you a lot. Like, if you sorcerer a Spyglass on Chandra, then all of a sudden, like, you're just down more and more copies of cards that matter. It's pretty miserable to play. Starting to get concerned for the opponent. Yeah, opponent is like, potentially, like, changing a diaper, taking care of a kid, who knows what exactly it is they're doing. But it is not playing Magic. So this is pretty similar to the GP deck list. I made a couple of changes. I wanted another Chandra in the deck list, so I cut the second P and K for that. I made a swap of, like, half snow-covered mountains and half mountains, and I took out the random one of surgical extraction, which seemed a little loose in the Chalice deck, for another Scab Clan Berserker to have more game against generic combo. Ooh, Zach, good point there. Yeah, I have a lot of fun playing this deck list, mostly because I get to take all of the fun. I think it's pretty good. There are some issues with it, and sometimes you can still not quite get things set up correctly due to some of the awkwardness of the deck. Like, let me show you what I mean. Ensnaring Bridge and Karn isn't necessarily a combo, right? So for those not familiar with Legacy Staple Karn, starts at 5 loyalty, you plus and reveal the top 2, your opponent gives you 1, and you put the other into exile with a silver counter. The -1 lets you get a card out of exile that has a silver counter on it, and then the -2 is create an artifact construct token with power and toughness equal to the number of artifacts you control. So the thing about Karn is, let's say you have a land in hand, and you plus Karn, and your opponent gives you a land. You now have 2 lands in hand, and you can only play 1. When that happens, you'll still have 1 card in hand for Ensnaring Bridge. So if you're playing against something like Delver or Deathrite Shaman, or sorry, like Grixis Delver, like, the young Pyromancer tokens, the unflipped Delvers, and the Deathrite Shamans can still attack if that sort of thing happens. So sometimes it can be correct to not use your Planeswalker, which is weird, or just, like, minus and create an idiot, even if it's never potentially going to attack. Similarly, I ran into a game where I had to, like, Chrome Mox my Hazaret in order to cast an Ensnaring Bridge on time, but then Hazaret is one of the best things to have with an Ensnaring Bridge. Or in, like, the post-sideboard games, sometimes you don't want this Kozilek's return, and you really just want something that you can Chrome Mox, but you can't successfully Chrome Mox Kozilek's return because it's devoid, meaning that it is colorless. So that's awkward. But if you want to play something else, then most of those are red-red, like Volcanic Fallout, and you can imprint that. Oh, okay, my opponent just conceded. They have other things going on. Okay, so just to finish a couple of thoughts here. So the double red of Volcanic Fallout can be tricky, and also the damage to you is sometimes rough when you're in Ancient Tomb deck that really is mana hungry. Alright, so crushing victory there, you know, easily done. Just took a little while. Alright, so we're 1-1 against Red Prison tonight. We are great at Magic Killing Form. Alright. I will keep a hand that leads on turn 1 Mom, turn 2 Thalia. Hopefully it's not Red Prison. If it's Red Prison a third time, we get punished for not, like, fetching basic land on 1. That'd be so embarrassing. Oh my god. Are you fucking serious right now? Please just play, like, a fucking Goblin Guide. Fuck. No. Why? Yeah, Rob, deck list is below the stream. We are on our 3rd match in a row, comically, versus, Red Prison. I think I just want to, like, keep bashing in. My opponent would need, like, another Simian Spirit Guide and a Soul Land to sweep my board. So I think I just, like, get aggressive here and take out their Chalice. It's really not cheap, though, Rob. Like, the Red Prison deck is, like, 600 on Magic Online. Bridge. Or is this you realizing that, yeah, Rabbles. Rabbles is fine. Rob, I think part of the issue is that some of the cards are expensive from overlap with Modern, if I were to guess. Because some of the cards, like, you know, Ensnaring Bridge are, like, randomly really expensive. Rob, one thing to keep in mind is that I've played Red Prison 3 rounds in a row, so how all of the green cards felt, generally speaking, is bad. Except Tireless Tracker. Tireless Tracker was bros. He turned into like a 10-10. Alright. Getting pretty good at sideboarding for Red Prison. One of those out. And one of those out. Still got all these blood moons. Yes, that is accurate. Yeah, so one thing that came up last round with the Pride Mage was that it's super awkward, like in terms of Vile, because we want to tick Vile up to 3 for the end game most of the time, but a top deck, like once we do that though, it shuts off Pride Mage as a live draw. That's no moon. This hand probably does nothing. This hand probably does nothing, but we can fetch a plains. So we'll keep it. Ooh, opponent mulligan to 5. It's less than 6. Mom? Do I want Mom to protect the Revoker? Not really. Like, the Revoker is fine, short game. Kind of just want to, like, try to get to another land or a Vile or some real threat. We need a Hierarch. She's the prison breaker we need. Yeah, and then we could put, like, a basic forest in our deck. And then once we got basic forest, we could consider Green Sun Zenith. And then once we did that, we could just, like, you know, play Maverick. Oh, Trinosphere. Deal. I'm not going to fetch to increase the probability of me drawing a basic land. So now I'm going to Rashad Import them this turn, and then the following turn, I'll revoke Chrome Mox and hopefully leave them stuck under their own Trinosphere. Ooh. Or do I get greedy and Flicker Wisp the Chrome Mox and make them pitch another card to keep it? And then revoke them afterwards. That is super greedy. I think I like that, though. I think I really like that. Greed, always greed. Alright, so, like, I'm going to justify this play because I want to use this Flicker Wisp if I can, while I can still cast it, and I might not have that many opportunities to do so. So, this potentially denies my opponent a mana or a card. And it feels kind of like my opponent is going to have, like, an Abrade or something like that to, like, kill this Flicker Wisp right now. Oh, no. No imprint. Okay, that's fine. That'll take out my Thalia. And I'm not gonna mess around with this and just like get cute and provoke Chromox or anything like that. That's way too risky. Ooh. That's a decent clock. Yeah, I do love my opponent getting locked under their own Trinisphere. I hope they draw a bunch of like Chromox and Chalices that they're just like going to flop around and be sad about. Ooh. Murder Party. This would be like a brutal Kozilek's return. Just gonna throw that out there. Alright, wrong card, right idea. Wait, did I have an opportunity to use Yu-Gi-Oh cards? Are there, like, the bad, like, terrible art ones for, like, Sylvan Library or anything like that? Oh, good luck, Rob. So Trazian, there's actually not anything under the Chrome Mox, so that card is not currently a threat. I Flicker Wisped it earlier, so it does not tap for any mana currently. On Magic Online, if there's something under the Chrome Mox, you'll see a partial silhouette of that card. No, it's not intuitive. Okay. Mom, look at your 1 power. You can attack under the bridge. Mom, what's that? Oh god, Mom! Why are you taking all of those roids? Mom, what are you doing? Oh jeez. I think it's probably better to just double port them and keep them from deploying cards than, like, deploy another Mom. I'd shorten the clock by a turn, theoretically, but I might allow my opponent to empty their hand, and that would be no bueno. Yeah, the issue with, like, the whole Stoneforge Mystic Jitte trick is that there's a Chalice of Void on 2 on the other side of the table. Opponent forgot about their own Trend Sphere, apparently. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to take this opportunity to remind you that Magic the Gathering is a difficult game. Alright, folks. 3 rounds versus Red Prison. We got 2 of them. We only lost to the very well-known, very, very good player. Look at all those trophies. 5 trophies. Good player. Amazing plays. Yes. Well fought, Magic. Alright. I'm going to take 30 seconds to just, like, walk that off, use the bathroom, and then I'll prepare for what will probably be my 4th round against Red Prison, knowing my luck tonight. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the deck list here for you all. Not that one. This one. And if you have any questions about this, go ahead and throw them in the chat, and I'll answer them in just a minute. Question. Why do you want a rest in peace bear? We should have a choke bear but for mountains instead of islands. All right, Army of Thalia, let me counter offer. How about a cycle of bears? You know, 4 of them, but it's the choke effect for everyone except white. We don't want to deal with that for the mirror. Get them. Wait, no. No. All right. Good evening, everyone. My name's Phil Gallagher. I am apparently just like the red prison magnet tonight while we're playing Green, White, Death and Taxes, featuring a bunch of sweet cards. The sweet cards haven't featured too much in the last couple of rounds, but hopefully that changes from here. This is why none of us won the Great Designer Search. Good evening, Phil and Phil fans. So, chat, this is an interesting hand, right? So this hand doesn't really do much right now. It has double Stoneforge Mystic, which is probably good enough to keep. But one thing to keep in mind is with 1 green land, all of a sudden this hand is gas. I will be hoping to play against a fair matchup if I keep this hand. Even something like a Wasteland might be a little bit tricky. How many green sources do I have to draw to? 11? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have 10 green sources to draw to make this hand insane. A Thalia, Mom, or Vile would make this hand insane. Yeah, I'll keep this. One white, 2/2 flying angel, exile from your hand and make white mana. Please just go in for a fucking Grizzlebrand. Just go in for a Grizzlebrand. Do it. It's a Grizzlebrand. Will they animate dead or reanimate it? Reanimate it? That means they only get to draw 7 cards, and then I bounce that Grizzlebrand, and then they're probably just donezo. Like, discard doesn't even bother me. They need to produce another creature here, or I don't care. Alright, so for anyone who always harps on me when I say, like, I think it is a mistake for red-black reanimators players to get Grizzlebrand against D&T, this is the sort of reason why. I'm glad to, like, finally have a snippet of this just, like, happening. Oh, Red Twister, the very first thing I said at the beginning of the stream is that, like, Maverick is probably just a better deck than what I'm doing. Alesh Norn. Alesh Norn. Does my opponent know that Alesh Norn is a legendary creature? Okay. That makes more sense. But no Tidespout Tyrant in the main deck? So, their reanimates are now dead for the rest of the match. I know they have an animate dead in hand. So, an animate dead on a Chancellor is a 5-turn clock because it loses 1 power. And I can almost certainly beat that with, like, Stoneforge for Batterskull. Oh, opponent doesn't have lands. Neat. Because if they had a land, they just, like, reanimate the Chancellor 100%. Okay, the Tidespout Tyrant was in their hand. Dark Ritual. Animate Dead on Tidespout Tyrant, sure. Unmask, bounce my land, sure. So I'm drawing to either Swords to Plowshares or opponent missing a land drop for a turn at any point. Or, sorry, I said that wrong. Opponent, like, drawing a land and missing a spell to play for a turn. Alright, things are a little difficult now. Oh, ship at Hot Sauce's rating, eh? Well, have at you. So need my opponent not to have a spell, then I can draw Swords to Plowshares, get rid of the Chancellor. Or the Tidespout turn, like either one. And then, alright. Now I have no outs. Alright, so we'll basically board in our entire sideboard. So we'll board out the Stoneforge package, we'll board out the Renegade Rallier, it's kind of fair. Then what? I'll have 24 creatures with this, or I guess Teague doesn't do anything, right? Teague is just like unmask. Yeah, okay, not Teague. Tracker seems slow. Tracker might be too slow. It is a non-white card though. So if my opponent like has an Iona, that's relevant because as like right now I only have 3 non-white cards that I can play if my opponent sticks an Iona. So that might matter. 4 Path to Exile might be too many. What is probably fine? Like maybe I get rid of a Flicker Wisp. one of these 4-drops. What does Shalai do? Shalai stops discard and collective brutality. Might be enough to keep in. I don't mind some bigger bodies. Maybe something like that. Alright, so what does this realistically do? It says 2 different removal spells for a first creature they produce. It has Canonist to slow them down, Mom as backup, Tireless Tracker as refueling. Its hand's not stellar. I only have 2 Rest in Peace as Graveyard Hate, though. A Thalia hand would probably be better than this. A Rest in Peace hand definitely would be better than this. Oh no, I have 4 pieces of Graveyard Hate because I have Surgical Extraction. I'm not excited about this hand. This is maybe supposed to be a mulligan. Like, the real merit of this hand is double removal spell, and I'm pretty likely to get a removal spell in any given 6. So I'm going to ship this. So this is an Aether Vial hand. Vial plus Tracker is pretty good, but this is like a fair hand for an unfair matchup. So if I keep this, I'd be hoping to hit a relevant 2-drop or a removal spell with a Scry. It's probably better than the average 5, but not by much. Very reluctant to keep. I am just kind of like banking on my opponent, like, quote unquote, not having it this game. I'm hoping to like use my port to play a fair game and get to the point where the tracker can draw me into something good. Not going to show this Caracas again. We're gonna sandbag that. Your gut feeling says that that first hand was fine enough. Maybe. It was borderline. Alright, so there's a Chancellor there, and another Chancellor. So my opponent probably has like another Animate Dead effect if they discarded one. You know, the next question is whether or not they have more mana beyond that. In response to anything, literal any spell they do, I will Violent Aethersworn Canonist. I probably lose my Tireless Tracker right here. That is what I would take if I were my opponent. But there is some world where they take the Flicker Wisp. Just out of, like, fear of more mana denial. Because, like, Flicker Wisp on my end step, blink out a land, port the other land is pretty devastating. It just kind of, like, depends on what they have. Yes, we are officially doing things now. That is correct. So opponent can now, like, Animate Dead a Chancellor and not die. But then I'll have a Tireless Tracker versus their board of one white sad boy. Sorry, one white sad boy. Or girl, thing. I don't know what that art looks like. This hand's fine. Not amazing. But I have a Path for a Grizzlebrand, a Swords to Plowshares for another creature, an Aether Vial if my opponent does not, like, generate a turn 1 idiot. This is good enough to keep, especially after my opponent's mulliganed. Opponent mulligans again. So my biggest piece of advice on the black-red Reanimator matchup is, like, only keep hands that have a game plan. If your hand does not have a game plan, don't keep that hand. I'm just going to get a basic on the off chance that my opponent is playing one of those builds that, like, has Blood Moon in it. As long as I can cast my cards, I'm pretty favored to win this game. What if my game plan is the Meteor on opponent line? Yeah, sometimes that's a line you have to play to. It happened earlier, right? Like, I was playing a good honest-to-goodness game of Magic against Red Prison, and then the Meteor hit my opponent. Alright, so reanimate a Chancellor. That's okay. That is very beatable with one land. Surgical. Surgical's fine. I'm not gonna, like, surgical Faithless Looting. I think I can probably do better than that. Alright, Swords, Plowshares, that's a hit. I don't know, Captain Haddock. I've got a handful of other decks I want to play first. Let's see. Do I want to put in a second Mom and then tick up my Vial? Maybe. I think that's something I want to do. So even if I don't hit the land, I can probably now beat a Chancellor. Because I just, like, Recruiter for Flicker Wisp, get Flicker Wisp, Recruiter, block Chancellor with Flicker Wisp. Cabal Therapy targeting me. Sure. So my opponent should probably name the Recruiter here and hope that I just miss on lands for Path. Nope. That's probably a misplay. Like, I don't know the rest of their hand, but... So Rob, we played against Red Prison 3 rounds in a row, and now we're playing against Black Red Reanimator. We're probably getting this game. Like, things can go wrong, but it's looking very good. Now we get to resolve Rest in Peace, and a future fatty doesn't get to happen. Now, barring some Sajiri Step level BS, I'm pretty good. Like, a Dread of Night can kill me, a Massacre can kill me. It's gonna take a powerful hate card. So probably just attack for 1 this turn, put my opponent to 7. Crack a clue at their end step. Make my tracker bigger. Alright, opponent discards Reanimate and Animate Dead. Okay, can I kill my opponent this turn? Pro-white, 7 damage. Play Athalia first to make sure they can't do anything stupid. Four plus 3 is 7. Phil can math. Phil can math. Alright, got there. Fun metagame tonight, 75% Red Prison, 25% Reanimator. Gotta love Legacy. All I wanted to do tonight was just, like, go and beat some people up with some angels. Was that so much to ask for? Apparently, yes. So what happened with this, like, 1-1 win was that my opponent, like, just left the game. They just, like, straight up conceded the entire match after they won game 1. So we are given the win 1-0. I don't know exactly what happened. How did you win that match too? Jazzy, I stalled out my opponent with Mother of Runes and Flicker Wisp, and then I just beat them to death. Opponent played Reanimator a few months ago. Oh, that's from like September of last year. Those results might not be accurate. Oh, McMaster, great, nice to get to talk to you. Yeah, so there'll be some useful feedback for you. I'm gonna keep this hand. I hope my opponent isn't on Reanimator like the results suggested. There will be a little bit of useful feedback for you. One of the things I talked about was, like, Grizzlebrand versus D&T, and how a lot of times that might not be the best line to take. It might have been your best line based on your hands, but like Caracas is rough. That last match versus Reanimator was pretty interesting. McMaster, one small misplay I think you made was when you did like an unmask targeting me, and I had both Path to Exile and Recruiter. I think you were actually supposed to take the Recruiter and hope I miss on lands for the Path, because if I just like Path your idiot, you end up a mana ahead. But if I get to if you give me the Recruiter, I have like guaranteed Flicker Wisp plus Mom to wall the Chancellor, and I get to generate value. And I just wonder, I wonder if that was a misplay. Do I concede to this unmask? Like, my opponent has drawn infinite cards. It might be better for me not to give them that value. Like, they're going to like keep some lands, they're going to keep some discard spells, bin a couple of fatties. This is probably a decent point to concede. Yeah, like targeting Grizzlebrand with Swords to Plowshares is a losing proposition. If that's my turn 1 play, I give my opponent 7 more life, I turn on the Reanimates that'll be in their hand. It's probably just not happening. Alright, let's board in like most of our sideboard again. Boop. 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 I think we only did like one fewer of those. Alright, so I think we did that. I think we cut that. We cut the entire Stoneforge package. And then I cut a Flicker Wisp and a Renegade Rallier. So like McMaster, this will also be useful for you. Like here's how I sideboarded, just so like you can kind of conceptually see what I was going on. The Stoneforge Mystic package is mana intensive and slow, so I cut that. I cut my Renegade Rallier. This isn't the right sort of matchup for it, and then I just trimmed on some of my heavy end here, and I bring in almost all of my sideboard. And McMaster, it's really good of you to like admit mistakes and learn from them, because that's how we get better as Magic players, right? We don't get better when we say, well, like, oh, maybe it was fine. You know, when we sit down and think about our hands and go like, no, I probably messed that up. That's how we get better. So this hand, if I draw a land, deploys turn 2 Thalia. It has a turn 1 answer to a creature. It has a little bit too much top end for my liking. But I'm going to keep this and try to spike that land. I heard you can stack your luck for later. Sure hope so. Okay, they're just gonna go off turn 1. So I guess that takes my swords to plowshares. It's got to be JD. If you want to see how my opponent did, you can look up the results for Jesse Hatfield. If you want to see how the other person playing that deck did, look up Alex Hatfield. I don't know how well my opponent did. I know they were... Ew, archetype is rough. I know they were... When Jesse beat me, I think that put him to 4-0. I think. It was either 3-0 or 4-0. So, he at least started off okay. See, like, this is the sort of card that I'm afraid of. This is the sort of card that, like, I can realistically lose to when playing this deck. I'm not sure how exactly I can beat that without Council's Judgment in my deck. Like, I'm gonna have to, like, stall out the board with Mom on both the ground and the air. Army of Thalia, archetype is not unprecedented in Reanimator. It's been in the deck off and on for 2 years. No, this deck is not better than the red-white version. This is a bonus stream for viewer entertainment, or at least that was the intention. It's been more like, you know, try to have some fun, play some regular Legacy, and then play against, you know, effectively combo decks 5 rounds in a row. Where, you know, Red Prison is a combo deck, where the combo is 1 card. Moon! Womp womp. So close to working. You know, if this is a different creature, you know, we could path one and then wall the other. But I think I'm dead now. Like, I'm not formally dead. You know, I only take 6 here, but I'm not coming back from this. Viewer entertainment just means that Moto abuses Phil. That sounds about right. Well, this is normally the point of the stream where, like, I go and I make some conclusions about, like, you know, how this deck performed, but I really can't tonight, right? Like, for the most part, the green cards didn't matter. I didn't bring in most of my sweet sideboard cards that I was excited to play. Tireless Tracker got kind of out of control one game, and it's really sweet in multiples. Never got to trigger Renegade Rallier. Kind of a disappointing stream in some ways. We got to see everything Legacy has to offer. Red Prison and Reanimator. What else do you want? No Deathrite Shamans, that's what you want, right? Well, that happened. No Deathrite Shamans tonight. Okay, but I do think Tireless Tracker is a card that's really sweet. I enjoyed that card a lot. It's probably better in Maverick than here because you have like more land-based synergy with cards like Ramunap Excavator, and like you have Green Sun to just go and consistently get it, mana to ramp into it. But this is a sort of shell that is definitely worth experimenting with. Blue. Blue. We want blue. We want to play against blue decks, and we want the cantrips to cost 2 mana. That's what we want. That's what we're here for, Phil. Yeah, I get it. I get where you're coming from. All right. So I think I have something fun for Wednesday planned. I'm gonna keep that a surprise until it actually happens. I have to confirm that it's fine for me to do this. But Wednesday should be pretty exciting and very useful for many players. But more on that some other day. As soon as I confirm that I can actually do that. My name was Phil Gallagher. I run Thraben University, and if you enjoyed good rounds of Legacy versus Red Prison and Reanimator, and you want to see more of that, and maybe matches against other things, feel free to follow. Again, I want to thank Eric P. for his relatively large donation. I really appreciate that. Mono Black? No, it's not going to be Mono Black. I'm potentially going to be doing some exhibition matches against another pretty good player. I have to finalize the details and make sure that other player is fine with me streaming my side of it. But I think that's what's happening. But yeah, I should play the mono black deck again sometime soon. I wanted to make some changes to it and make that better. Did I take the? Oh, there it is. There's changes to be made here, and it's been 1 month and 13 days or something like that since I played Vampire Nighthawk in Legacy, so that's too long. So might as well mess around with this archetype again. It was really fun. I enjoyed it a lot. All right, but let's go ahead and call it a night here, folks. Thank you all for watching tonight, and I hope you had fun. I did, despite the number of blood moons we saw.